Right. They want y'all to get off my page and stop talking about that and bringing that up. But if it's going to get if it's going to help you guys get some information and some advice to go over there with, to advise with, maybe to look up some information to how to support, I'm okay with that. I don't care who mad that we have good conversations that might help. I'm okay with that.
Baby, the internet just found a brand new family drama buffet. And this time, Karlissa walked in holding a plate, a fork, and a speech that had everybody squinting at the screen like, wait, what is really going on here? It's because the moment. She started talking about wanting more for Chrissy and Junior and wanting to help Nevaeh with her kids. The comment section did not just react. It transformed into a courtroom, a group chat, a boxing ring, and a messy Thanksgiving dinner all at the same time. Now, on the surface, it sounds sweet, right? A grown woman saying she wants to help, saying the children deserve better, saying somebody needs to step up before the chaos starts spinning like a broken carnival ride. But this is not a quiet family meeting with tea and cookies. This is blueface adjacent drama, which means even a sentence about babysitting can somehow turn into a Marvel multiverse crisis with side characters, receipts, old grudges, and fans, acting like they just got subpoenaed by Zeus Network. And here is where it gets extra messy. Some people are saying Karlissa is being caring, mature, and surprisingly reasonable. Others are side-eyeing the whole thing, like, ma'am, are you helping? Or are you collecting emotional evidence for the next live stream? Because, let's be honest, whenever Karlissa enters the chat, Peace starts looking nervous. The woman can say good morning and the internet will ask who she shaded, who she exposed, and which baby mama just caught a stray bullet in the caption. Meanwhile, Nevaeh's name being pulled into the conversation has fans spiraling harder than a reality show reunion with no security guards. People want to know if this is support, strategy, shade, or a soft launch into a brand new family war. Because when kids, exes, mothers, and social media opinions collide, the drama does not just knock. It kicks the door open wearing sunglasses, but the real question is not whether Karlissa wants to help. The real question is why the internet thinks there is something much bigger hiding underneath it all. And the answer may be messier than anybody expected. Now, to understand why Karlissa is saying she wants to help Nevaeh's kids set the internet on fire, we have to rewind this whole circus back to the beginning, because this is not just one comment floating in the air like a random balloon at a birthday party. This is connected to a whole family tree of chaos, confusion, loyalty switches, public arguments, awkward alliances, and fans who have been watching this saga like it is a limited Netflix series that refuses to end. Every time people think the Blueface universe has finally run out of plot twists, somebody grabs a phone, hits live, drops a sentence, and suddenly the internet is screaming again. And this time, Karlissa's words landed right in the middle of the mess, like a lit match in a room full of hairspray. Karlissa has always been one of those people who can turn a simple opinion into a full-blown national conversation before breakfast. And that is exactly why fans immediately started dissecting her tone like FBI agents at a press conference. When she talks about wanting more for Chrissy and Junior, people already know emotions are going to get heavy. Because that baby has been at the center of so many public arguments, accusations, defenses, and viral debates. But when she also mentioned wanting to help Nevaeh with her kids, the internet slammed the brakes so hard the whole comment section needed a seatbelt. People were asking, wait, help, how? Help, why? And why does this sound like the opening scene before everything goes left? The messy part is that Karlissa's concern did not arrive in a peaceful little bubble, because nothing in this world ever does. It arrived after months of people arguing about Blueface, Christian, Nevaeh, Karlissa, parenting, loyalty, relationships, and who actually deserves support when everybody involved seems to be surrounded by chaos. Fans have watched these names get tossed around in live streams, captions, reactions, and clips that spread faster than bad news in a group chat. So when Karlissa stepped forward sounding like she wanted to be the voice of reason, some viewers clapped, some blinked, and some immediately said, "This woman is either healing or plotting, and I need to know which one before I emotionally invest." Because let's keep it real, Karlissa's history with public commentary is not exactly soft jazz in the background. She is more like a drumline entering a library loud enough to make everybody turn around and ask what just happened. She has defended, dragged, explained, reacted, cried, laughed, shaded, and spoken her truth so many times that fans already know her words are never just words. They become content, arguments, reaction videos, and quote tweets before the original sentence even finishes loading. So when she positioned herself as someone who wants to help Nevaeh's kids, the internet immediately treated it like breaking news with emotional subtitles. On one side, people saw a grandmother figure trying to bring some sense into a situation that has been messy for way too long. They said children should never suffer because adults cannot stop turning life into a reality show reunion with unlimited episodes. They felt Karlissa was finally looking past the drama and focusing on what actually matters, which is the well-being of the kids involved. And honestly, that side of the internet had a point. Because when children are in the conversation, the jokes get quieter, the stakes get higher. And even the messiest viewers start acting like concerned aunties with prayer hands in the comments. But on the other side, people were not buying the angelic soundtrack just yet because the timing felt suspicious to them. They wondered why Karlissa would publicly say she wants to help Nevaeh instead of keeping that support private, direct, and drama-free. They asked if this was genuine concern or another layer in a bigger public performance where everybody says they want peace while simultaneously giving the internet another reason to fight. And once those doubts started spreading, the whole thing became less like a sweet family gesture and more like a courtroom scene, where every word was being cross-examined by strangers with profile pictures of cartoon characters. Then came the first wave of reactions. And baby, it was pure digital thunder. Some fans said Karlissa was stepping into a role that maybe nobody else was willing to take seriously. And they respected her for at least acknowledging the kids instead of just feeding the usual grown-up drama machine. Others said she needed to stop inserting herself into situations that already had enough flames without her bringing a gasoline coupon. The comment section split into teams so fast you would think somebody had launched a sports draft. Team Karlissa is trying was on one side, Team Karlissa is stirring was on the other. And everybody in the middle was just trying to figure out how. Nevaeh's kids became the center of the newest internet trial. The reason this moment hit so hard is because Nevaeh's place in the larger story has already been surrounded by confusion, speculation, and people trying to connect dots that may or may not even belong on the same page. Whenever her name gets mentioned near Blueface's orbit, fans immediately start building theories like they are assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. Add Karlissa into that equation, and suddenly the drama becomes a full algebra problem, with emotional damage included. People were not just listening to what Karlissa said. They were listening for what she did not say, what she might have meant, and who might feel some type of way after hearing it. And that is where the scandal origin really begins. Not with one shocking insult or one leaked video, but with the uncomfortable question of intention. Was Karlissa extending kindness, or was she making a public move that would place her in the middle of Nevaeh's life, the kids' lives, and the entire Blueface conversation again? Was this support or was this control dressed up in concern with a bow on top? The internet loves a messy mystery, and this one came pre-seasoned with family tension, public history, and enough side-eye to power a whole Zeus reunion stage. Suddenly, everybody had a theory, and nobody was whispering. Then the reactions started getting even wilder because people began comparing this situation to everything from Kardashian family management meetings to WWE tag team betrayals. 1 minute Karlissa looked like the caring elder trying to save the kids from the storm. And the next minute, critics were acting like she was Kris Jenner with a live stream ring light and a comment section strategy. Some fans joked that if Karlissa says she wants to help, the help might come with a camera, a caption, and 3 follow-up lives titled, "Let me clear something up." And while the jokes were funny, underneath them was a real concern about whether public involvement helps children or just turns private pain into another viral episode. Meanwhile, KO's foundation kept building because Christian Jr. being mentioned added an emotional layer that nobody could ignore. Fans have been extremely protective and extremely opinionated whenever his name comes up, because they have seen how quickly adult drama can overshadow a child who never asked to be part of the internet's entertainment cycle. So when Karlissa connected her desire for better outcomes with both Christian Jr. and Nevaeh's kids, it sounded like she was trying to widen the conversation from one household to a whole messy family ecosystem. That could have been a mature moment, but because this cast cannot breathe without the internet hearing thunder, maturity got mixed with suspicion almost instantly. The first reactions from viewers were not just about Karlissa either. They were about everybody around her. People asked where Blueface fits into this, what Nevaeh thinks, whether Christian would react, and whether this so-called support could trigger another round of messy commentary from every corner of the internet. It felt like everyone was waiting for the next person to respond, because in this universe, one statement rarely stays single for long. It gets married to a clapback, gives birth to a live stream, and raises a whole family of reaction videos by sunset. That is why fans were holding their breath, not because the comment itself was explosive, but because they knew the aftermath could be. And let's not ignore the public confusion, because a lot of people genuinely did not know how to feel. They wanted to support the idea of someone helping children, but they also did not want to ignore how messy things can get when help becomes public. They were caught between empathy and suspicion, clapping with one hand and holding binoculars with the other. This is what made this situation so addictive to watch, because it was not simple villain versus hero drama. It was complicated, emotional, and uncomfortable, with just enough sarcasm, history, and family tension to keep the internet refreshing the page like rent was due. By the time the conversation spread, Karlissa's words had already become bigger than the original message. People were no longer just debating whether she should help Nevaeh's kids. They were debating motives, boundaries, family roles, public parenting, loyalty, and whether the adults in this saga can ever handle anything without turning it into a viral bonfire. And every new comment added another spark, another theory, another uncomfortable question that made the whole thing feel less like a random social media moment and more like the first act of a drama that was only getting warmed up. Because when Karlissa steps into a sensitive situation with good intentions or questionable timing, the internet does not wait politely. It grabs popcorn and starts judging the lighting. So part 1 ends with the tension sitting heavy, because Karlissa has now placed herself in a conversation that touches children, motherhood, public image, and the messy web surrounding Blueface's world. Some people see compassion, some see calculation, and some see a storm forming behind a sentence that sounded innocent for maybe 5 seconds. Nevaeh has not been treated like a background name in this conversation. She has become part of the emotional center, and that means the next response could change the whole temperature. And if the internet is already this divided over Karlissa saying she wants to help, just imagine what happens when the reactions start turning personal. Now, once the internet finished blinking at Karlissa's comment, the escalation came in like a Zeus security guard sprinting across the reunion stage. Because people did not just react, they started building entire conspiracy castles out of one sentence. Suddenly, everybody became a family therapist, a custody expert, a body language reader, and a spiritual investigator with a cracked phone screen. Some fans were saying Karlissa was doing what the rest of the adults should have done a long time ago, which is stop yelling in public and actually care about the kids caught in the middle. But other fans were not convinced at all, because in this family circus, even kindness can look like strategy when it arrives with a spotlight and a comment section attached. The wildest part is that people could not agree on whether this was a sweet gesture or a soft launch for another messy chapter. One side was praising Karlissa like she had walked into the chaos wearing a superhero cape, saying somebody needed to speak up for the children before the grown folks turned every disagreement into a viral wrestling match. The other side was looking at the whole situation like, here we go again, because they know Karlissa does not usually step into drama quietly. She enters like a dramatic auntie at a family barbecue, carrying both the potato salad and the receipts. And somehow everybody leaves arguing before the plates are even made. Then the memes started rolling in. And once the memes arrive, you already know the internet has stopped taking anything seriously. People were comparing Karlissa to Kris Jenner trying to manage a family empire from the comments section, while others said this felt like a WWE storyline where somebody claims they want peace right before swinging a folding chair. Some fans joked that Karlissa offering help probably came with a full introduction speech, a live stream title, and at least 3 emotional pauses for dramatic effect. And even though everybody was laughing, the jokes had a sharp little edge, because underneath the humor was a real question about whether public help can stay pure when the public is already watching. Nevaeh's name being attached to the situation made everything even more complicated because fans immediately started wondering how she must feel seeing people debate help for her kids like it was the season plotline of a streaming show. Some viewers felt bad for her, saying nobody wants their parenting, family needs, or private life turned into online entertainment, especially when strangers already have too many opinions and not enough information. Others argued that once certain names get connected to Blueface's world, privacy becomes harder to protect because every tiny movement gets analyzed like a celebrity scandal documentary. It was messy, uncomfortable, and exactly the kind of chaos the internet pretends to hate while refreshing every 30 seconds. And of course, Blueface's shadow was hanging over the whole conversation like a neon sign that refused to turn off. Even when he was not the one speaking, fans kept dragging him into the center because his name is the glue holding half this drama together. People were asking why Karlissa felt the need to step in, what role Blueface should be playing, and whether the adults around these children are actually solving problems or just passing emotional responsibility around like a hot potato at a family reunion. Every question made the conversation louder, because once accountability enters the chat, everybody starts ducking like somebody just threw a shoe. Then came the fan outrage. And baby, it had layers like a Kardashian apology video. Some people were furious that children were being discussed in such a public way, saying kids should be protected from the internet circus no matter how messy the adults become. Others were angry that Karlissa was getting criticized for even mentioning support, arguing that people always complain nobody helps, then attack the moment somebody offers. And right in the middle were the exhausted viewers saying, can one adult in this storyline please move in silence? Because apparently silence is now a luxury item nobody in this saga can afford. The contradictions were louder than the original statement because people wanted Karlissa to care, but not too publicly, to support, but not control, to speak up, but not speak too much, to be involved, but not overstep. That is the internet's favorite impossible assignment: do the right thing, but do it exactly the way millions of strangers with different opinions imagined it in their heads. So Karlissa became the target and the hero at the same time, depending on which comment section you walked into. In one corner, she was being praised for showing concern, and in another, she was being treated like she had just entered Nevaeh's life with a clipboard and a reality show contract. The celebrity reaction. Energy was not even about actual celebrities needing to speak. It was about fans reacting like this was already bigger than it was. People were tagging reaction pages, gossip channels, bloggers, and drama accounts, like they needed a full panel discussion with dramatic music behind it. The conversation started, moving from Karlissa wants to help to what does this mean for everybody involved, in record time. That is how you know the internet has adopted a storyline, because the original point gets kidnapped, dressed in sequins, and forced to dance on every platform until nobody remembers who started the song. Then the analogies got completely out of control, because fans were comparing this family web to Marvel timelines, where every character has a backstory, a betrayal arc, and a secret post-credit scene. One person would say Karlissa is trying to be the Nick Fury of the family, assembling the adults before the universe collapses, while another would say she is more like the villain who gives a speech before the big reveal. Somebody else joked, this was not family drama anymore. It was a Zeus backstage fight with emotional custody papers and a ring light. The jokes were outrageous, but they captured the confusion perfectly, because nobody knew whether this was the beginning of healing or the trailer for another disaster. What made the escalation so addictive was the way every opinion created a new argument. If someone said Karlissa was wrong for speaking publicly, another person shouted back that at least she was speaking about the kids instead of ignoring them. If someone said she was being kind, another person asked why kindness needed an audience. If someone said Nevaeh deserved support, another person wondered whether Nevaeh even asked for Karlissa's help in the first place. The whole internet became a messy debate club with no moderator, no final answer, and way too many people typing in all caps like they were being paid by the exclamation mark. And then the emotional side started creeping in. Because behind all the sarcasm and memes, people were genuinely worried about the children being surrounded by constant adult drama. Fans pointed out that kids need stability, not viral debates, and that every public argument creates a digital footprint they never chose. That part hit differently because even the messiest viewers had to pause for a second and admit that this was not just entertainment. There are real kids connected to these headlines, real futures being shaped by adult decisions, and real consequences hiding behind every "let me speak my truth" moment that gets uploaded for strangers to judge. Still, the internet could not help itself, because once a story has messy timing, emotional tension, and a cast full of unpredictable personalities, people start watching like it is the season finale of a show that never got a script supervisor. Karlissa's supporters kept insisting she was trying to create some kind of bridge, maybe even a surprising alliance with Nevaeh for the sake of the kids. Her critics kept saying bridges are nice, but not when they are built in front of cameras, with everybody throwing tomatoes from the comment section. And the more both sides argued, the more the original offer of help turned into a public test of motives, boundaries, and trust. By the time the conversation reached full meltdown mode, people were no longer asking one simple question. They were asking if Karlissa was becoming a protector, a peacemaker, a strategist, or a chaos manager with a microphone. They were asking whether Nevaeh would accept the help, reject it, ignore it, or respond in a way that sends the whole internet into another emergency meeting. They were asking if Christian's side would feel some type of way, Blueface would get dragged harder, and if this entire situation was secretly setting up a bigger family clash. And that is exactly why part 2 ends with the tension turned all the way up. 'Cause Karlissa may have offered help, but the internet heard a warning siren. Now the aftermath of Karlissa saying she wants to help Nevaeh's kids did not settle down like a normal conversation, because nothing in this storyline knows how to land softly. Instead, the whole thing kept spinning across social media like a runaway shopping cart in a parking lot, hitting every opinion, every fan theory, and every old wound on the way down. People were no longer just asking whether Karlissa meant well. They were asking what this could do to Nevaeh's image, Christian's feelings, Blueface's responsibility, and the already fragile alliances floating around this drama like paper plates in a thunderstorm. For Nevaeh, the public reaction created a very uncomfortable spotlight, because now strangers were debating her situation like they had access to the private group chat. Some fans felt she deserved support without being turned into a topic, while others acted like Karlissa's offer exposed something deeper about who is really showing up and who is just performing concern online. That is where the emotional fallout got heavy, because when kids are involved, the internet suddenly becomes both protective and invasive at the same time. Everybody claims they want peace, but somehow the conversation still ends up louder than a Zeus reunion after somebody says, "Roll the footage." Karlissa's reputation also took a hit and a boost at the same time, which is honestly the most Karlissa outcome possible. Her supporters said she was being compassionate, mature, and willing to step into a messy situation for the sake of children who need stability more than viral arguments. Her critics said she was once again placing herself right in the middle of another emotional storm, then acting surprised when lightning started striking. So her image became split in two. Like one half was the concerned grandmother figure and the other half was the drama narrator, holding a microphone while the building catches fire. Then Blueface's name started getting dragged back into the center, because fans were not about to let him float above the chaos like a background extra. People began asking why Karlissa was even in a position where she felt the need to offer help, and whether the bigger issue was the adults around these kids failing to create a stable environment. That question changed the temperature completely, because now the conversation was not just about Karlissa or Nevaeh. It became about responsibility, parenting, public drama, and whether everyone involved has spent too much time entertaining the internet and not enough time cleaning up the real-life mess. Meanwhile, alliances started looking shaky, because Karlissa showing concern for Nevaeh's children could be seen as support, but it could also be read as a quiet shift in the family politics. Fans wondered whether she was trying to build a bridge with Nevaeh, distance herself from old battles, or position herself as the one adult who could say, "I tried," when everything else gets messy. And because this universe runs on suspicion, even a helpful statement started looking like a chess move. One minute people were calling her thoughtful, and the next, they were acting like she had just moved a queen across the board with dramatic music playing. The public confusion only grew when people started asking how Christian might feel about all of this, especially with Christian Jr. being mentioned alongside Nevaeh's kids. Some fans believed Karlissa was trying to speak broadly about all the children affected by the chaos, which could have been a surprisingly mature angle. Others wondered if Christian would see it as shade, comparison, or another public conversation involving her child without her controlling the narrative. That is the dangerous part of this whole saga, because one person's "I want better for the kids" can become another person's "Why are you speaking on my situation?" before the internet even finishes making popcorn. And then came the season finale energy, because people started predicting the next chapter before the current one even finished. Would Nevaeh respond and make everything clearer? Or would silence make the theories grow bigger? Would Karlissa explain herself again and accidentally pour gasoline on a fire she swears she was trying to put out? Would Blueface stay quiet, or would his name keep getting dragged until the comments section turned into a full-blown family court parody? Every possible outcome felt messy, because this story has trained the internet to expect calm for about 3 seconds before chaos kicks. The door open wearing designer sunglasses, but the unexpected twist is that beneath all the jokes, shade, and viral commentary, Karlissa may have accidentally exposed the one thing nobody can laugh away. The kids are the real center of this storm. Not the clapbacks, not the live streams, not the fan wars, not the endless debates about who is fake and who is loyal. The real issue is whether the adults can stop performing long enough to protect the children from becoming permanent characters in grown-up drama. And that is why this moment feels bigger than one comment, because Karlissa's offer may have sounded like help. But it opened a question nobody can dodge. Who is actually willing to step up when the cameras stop rolling? Now listen, if your eyebrows are still stuck on the ceiling after this whole Karlissa, Nevaeh, blueface adjacent family hurricane, go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you rent money. Court fees, apology flowers, and a full explanation by Monday morning. Because this drama did not just knock on the door, it walked in wearing boots, sat on the couch, grabbed the remote, and started asking everybody why the kids are somehow caught in the middle of grown folks acting like peace is allergic to them. And drop your thoughts in the comments because, baby, the internet is divided like a Thanksgiving table after somebody brings up old family business before the food is even served. Do you think Karlissa is genuinely trying to help Nevaeh's kids? Or do you think the timing is giving messy strategy with a side of public relations seasoning? Is this compassion, control, concern, or another chapter in the Blueface universe, where one sentence turns into a 6-part documentary with reaction channels screaming in the background? Also, make sure you subscribe, because Secret Scoop is not letting this circus leave town without checking every clown car, every hidden receipt, and every emotional plot twist tucked behind the curtain. We are watching the comments, the reactions, the sudden silence, the possible clapbacks, and every little movement that could turn this from a family conversation into a full-blown internet emergency. And you already know when this story shifts. The tea is not walking over here politely. It is sprinting in heels with a ring light dot, so hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications and stay locked in, because the next chapter might be even messier than the one we just survived. If Nevaeh responds, if Karlissa doubles down, if Blueface gets dragged harder, or if somebody suddenly claims they were misunderstood, we will be right here decoding the madness. Till then, keep your popcorn, close your screenshots closer, and remember, when the drama gets loud, Secret Scoop gets louder.